The Moon Chanter of Frost Moon Scions, Lauma, a key figure in Genshin's story and now one of the most valuable supports in the game. And in the recent livestream, we finally got the full reveal of her kit and her banners. If you ask me, she is without a doubt the most valuable character in this entire patch, and she's going to be one of your most used characters in the near future. So it's the right time we talk about her best teams, her rankings, and how she compares to other top supports and meta units. Let's start with her gameplay. Lauma is a main support for all Bloom-related reactions. She also introduces a brand new reaction called Lunar Bloom, which doesn't just stand on its own, it also buffs Bloom, Hyperbloom, and Burgeon reactions. Before we get into her rankings, a quick word. If you're planning a top-up, you can save up to 25% using Loot Bar. Just click the top link in the description, choose your server, enter your UID, and the Genesis crystals are sent straight to your account, usually in under a minute. They've got hundreds of thousands of 5-star reviews and are heavily trusted. This is the cheapest way to pull for Lauma, Nahida, or any upcoming banner. Plus, if you sign up today, you'll also get an extra 10% coupon on your first purchase. And don't forget, we're also running a giveaway. To join, just comment your opinion down below and join the Discord server for more details. Coming to her playstyle, her elemental skill works like this. When you tap it, she converts into a unique half-human form that doubles as her exploration ability. But when you hold the skill, it deals Dendro AoE Lunar Bloom damage. Each time she triggers blooms, she gains stacks of Verdant Dew. Holding her skill consumes these Dew stacks to deal AoE damage, and each stack consumed grants her Moonsong stacks. On top of that, she reduces up to 25% Hydro and Dendro resistance from enemies, which is massive for reaction damage. Her elemental burst grants an effect called Pale Hem. I won't go in-depth into the full kit here, we already discussed that in detail in another video. Link is in the description if you want the full breakdown. But the important part is this. When Pale Hem is active, it buffs all Bloom, Hyperbloom, and Burgeon reactions. The scaling depends entirely on the Ma's elemental mastery, which makes her a pure EM support. So here's how her kit flows. Trigger 3 blooms, gain Verdant Dew, hold the skill convert Dew into Moonsong stacks, and AoE damage. Use Burst, Pale Hem activates, buffing all reaction damage. Swap to your DPS. Her passives make her even crazier. She gives the team a constant 15% crit rate and 100% crit damage for all Bloom reactions. And with Lunar Sign level 2, she adds another 10% crit rate and 20% crit damage, specifically to Lunar Bloom reactions.
Coming to her weapons, her best in slot is obviously her signature, Nightweaver's Looking Glass, especially at higher refinements. Right after that, 1,000 Floating Dreams, Nahida's weapon, works almost just as well, so there's not a huge difference if you already have it. What makes Lauma really good for F2P is that she also has some strong alternatives. Sacrificial Fragments and even Sitlai's weapon, the Aetherlight Spindalute, both give a massive amount of elemental mastery, which is exactly what she needs. Since all of Lauma's damage and team buffs scaled directly from EM, these options are surprisingly close to the 5 stars in value. For artifacts, it's simple. You either go with the new Silken Moon Serenade set or the old reliable Deepwood Memories. Both are excellent choices. You can also use Gilded Dreams if you're newer or don't want to farm the new set, but that should be your last priority. For substats, it's straightforward. Stack as much elemental mastery as possible. Lauma scaling almost entirely depends on EM, so crit or attack stats don't matter much here. Now let's move on to her teams, and honestly, this is where Lauma completely outshines most other supports. Compared to Flins, who we covered in the last video, Lauma has almost twice as many viable teams. Her strongest setups are built around Bloom and Hyperbloom, while Burgeon is playable but not really her specialty. Her top-tier Bloom team is with Nilou, Nahida, and Kokomi, or you can swap Kokomi for Ano if you want to maximize nod-krai synergy. Hyperbloom is just as strong with Nuvolette, Farina, and Inessa, making an incredibly powerful core. When we're talking about Lauma's strongest team structures, it really depends on whether you're building around Bloom or Hyperbloom. Slot 1 is your main DPS, someone like Nilou, Nuvolette, Alhaitham, or even Flins. Slot 2 is usually a Dendro unit like Nahida or Baiju, but if you're running Hyperbloom, then replace this with an Electro trigger like Inessa, Kuki Shinobu, or even Raiden with Gilded. Slot 3 is where you bring in a nod-krai character, and Ano is the best option here for extra damage boosts. She can even be played in Burgeon teams with Thoma, which aren't her top comps but can still be used as an option. For pure F2P teams, some of her best lineups are with Kuki, Kaveha, and Aino. She synergizes incredibly well with Kaveha thanks to the resistance shred he provides alongside bloom buffs. You can also replace Aino with Xingqiu, who performs similarly thanks to his damage and high Hydra application. Ororan is also a strong option in her Hyperbloom teams. Some other team variations include Alhaitham Spread, not her best but still works, and Quicken teams with Tainari and Alhaitham, which perform decently. As for synergy with older units, she works really well in Clorinde, Cyno, and Raiden Hyperbloom comps, often replacing Nahida. Even Hayato can be used as a Hydra applicator with his burst. Now, one of the biggest questions many of you asked, how good is Lauma actually? Is she worth upgrading from Nahida, and where does she place herself in the tier list? Lauma is without a doubt a huge upgrade over Nahida. In older Nahida teams, just by swapping her in, you see around 45% more team damage. She provides insane buffs, letting bloom reactions crit, giving up to 25% resistance shred, and scaling incredibly high with her EM. The new artifact set is also broken, providing essential EM for buffing the whole team. So yes, she's not only worth upgrading from Nahida, but she also pairs together with Nahida in both Bloom and Hyperbloom teams.
Coming to vertical investment, Lauma is one of the most essential characters who benefits the most from it. Looking at her constellations, you can see the damage increase right here in the chart. Her C1 doesn't give raw multipliers, but it's extremely practical. It lets you potentially drop the healer slot and bring in an extra damage dealer. That flexibility alone is huge. Her C2 is where you see the biggest jump in raw damage, with over a 15% increase compared to C0. Beyond that, the gains from C3 to C6 are much smaller and honestly not worth chasing unless you're a whale. The most value you'll get is stopping at C2. Now, with the new level 100 feature Hoyoverse just introduced, Lauma becomes even more valuable. She's only the second character in the game, apart from the Dendro Traveler, who actually ascends with Elemental Mastery. And since we all know how important base stats are, especially for reactions like Bloom and Hyperbloom, she might be one of the best characters to push to level 100. If you're still unsure how the new level 100 system works, I already made a full breakdown video on that, so check the link in the description. When it comes to her future-proof value, Lauma is S tier right from release. In Bloom teams, she's already performing on the same level as Nahida at C2, and in Quicken teams, you can even run both together for even stronger results. Her Burgeon teams aren't her strongest right now, but Hoyoverse could easily drop a Burgeon-focused DPS in the future that makes her even more valuable. Looking ahead, she's one of the most future-proof supports in the entire game, with upcoming units like Columbina and Nefer, who's expected to be a strong Dendro DPS. Her synergy only gets stronger. And the best part? She's powerful enough to carry teams even with mostly 4-star units. That's exactly why Lauma is a must-pull support for any account, free-to-play or whale.